Hi, I'm Jeff Murrah, and I want to welcome you to True Texas History, where today my focus is on Texans and their cannons. Um, there's something about historic artifacts I find fascinating, and especially when it comes to cannons. And Texas definitely has its share of cannon stories. Uh, Now, for this presentation, I'm going to bypass the Gonzalez canon, its whereabouts. But one that is going to be coming into the news again is the Twin Sisters. Now, the Twin Sisters were the two cannons that they were 6 pounders that were given to the Republic by the people of Cincinnati and was used at the Battle of San Jacinto. I get a kick out of it, because in the shipping invoices from Cincinnati, they were identified as hollowware. Of course, if you're going around shipping weapons to nations that are at war, you get in trouble. That's not something that's supposed to be done. Um, and they were shipped down the river to New Orleans, and in New Orleans, they were put on another vessel and sent to Brazoria, and was unloaded there. And one of the people in the community, I believe it was Dr. Rice, or had the last name of Rice. He had twin daughters, and they were on the same trip, and somehow the term twin sisters got associated with the cannons, and they started referring to them as the twin sisters after that. Now, when it was in combat, they didn't use a lot of cannonballs. The Texans used what they could find, so things like nails, horseshoes, broken glass, just about anything that they could stuff down the barrel of a cannon and shoot out of it. And, like a lot of Texas history, after the war, they just kind of disappeared. Someone found them, they were refurbished, and they were fired again in 1841 when President Houston was sworn in as president, at his inauguration, his second inauguration. And at the moment, that they were fired, he went ahead and kissed the Bible that he was sworn in on. When was the last time you saw a politician have that kind of reverence, I tell you. Um, and then, much like some of the Texas artifacts, they ended up getting lost again. They were found in Louisiana, refurbished, sent back to Texas for the 25th anniversary of the Battle of San Jacinto in 1861. And then, in the 1860s, everything got caught up with the war, and cannons were important. They were very valuable. And there's some stories that the Twin Sisters were taken by Rip Ford down to the valley and were left at Fort Brown after the war. And there's some evidence for that. He did take some cannons, including a couple of 6-pounders. Then there were also rumors that someone saw the Twin Sisters there at Market Square in Houston or in Harrisburg. And they were getting ready to be shipped off after the war, melted down. One story is that someone saw them, recognized them, went ahead and buried them. That I don't know. What we do know is that the cannons disappeared. Now, one way that people knew which cannons were the cannons, there were some brass plaques on their carriages. And they did locate the brass plaques, and one of them was presented to Governor Pat Neff, and I believe one of them, I don't know if it was one given to Pat Neff or the other brass plaque. It's at Baylor University. Now, the other set of famous cannons is known as the Valverde Battery. They were captured by a bunch of Texans in one of the battles early on in the war between the states there in New Mexico, in the Battle of Valverde. Tom Green, who I mentioned the other day, went ahead and used them. the Valverde Battery was used at the Battle of Fort Bislam, which I talked about the other day. I didn't go into the Valverde Battery and how after the men retreated from the fort that Tom Green provided cover. But the Valverde Battery was also involved in the battles of Mansfield and Pleasant Hill, while under the command of Tom Green. After the war, the men felt very strongly about the Valverde Battery, and they went ahead and buried the cannons to prevent them from being captured and melted down. It was a series of 5 cannons. They weren't all the same. And then after the war, when things finally settled down, the cannons were dug up. 2 of them were in pretty bad condition. I'm not sure what happened to them. One of them, I believe, is up in Weatherford, Texas now, and another one is in Fairfield, Texas, and I believe another one is at the campgrounds there in Mahia. But the 5 cannons, 3 of them still survive and are with us today as part of the Valverde Battery. I hope you enjoyed this presentation about historic artifacts. I know, I've talked about people, I've talked about events, but artifacts are also a fascinating part of Texas history. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, concerns, feel free to leave them below. I'll be glad to get to them. And until next time, this is Jeff Murrah wishing you vaya con Dios, my friends. Goodbye.